Greetings everyone and welcome to the Maria Cozette Show. This is where the left brain meets the right. I have an awesome guest today, a young physician who is also a very talented musician. So stay tuned for that, and for any further information, visit mariacozette.com/television. Stay with us. Hello everyone, welcome back. My guest today is an outstanding orthopedic surgeon and a very talented musician. What's up, Sevag?
What's up, Maria?
Dr. Bastian, I should say.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here. You're actually my first guest who is a physician and a musician, and you're going to bless us with some music later. So that's always good. But first, let's talk about your journey as far as the education and your residency. Is very challenging, the road to becoming a physician, but you went on to pursue orthopedic surgery as a fellowship. So tell me about that experience.
Right, so it's a very long experience, but I'm so happy about it because I got to explore all of America. I got to live in the coolest cities all around. I'm from San Francisco, the city, not from the Bay, but from San Francisco.
Yes.
And then I lived in LA, went to UCLA for undergrad. I went to medical school in Chicago, so I got to spend some time in the Midwest. And I did my training, my residency in New Jersey and New York. So I lived right next to New York City and got to experience that life for a while as well. Came back for my fellowship in LA, and I'm just happy to be back in the West Coast, AKA the best coast.
That's true. This is very true. You recently moved to LA, and I really admire that before even establishing yourself here, as far as your practice and everything, you went on a philanthropic mission with Glendale Adventist, led by Ramela Markarian. Love her. And so it's called Compassion in Action. You guys went to Artsakh. Tell me about that experience. It must have been very interesting and what you did there and everything.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to give back, first of all, back to our homeland.
Right.
I'd been to Armenia once before when I was 21. It was completely different. I did surgeries then as well, and it was just a different world out there. And when I got to go back now as a fully trained orthopedic surgeon and participate in orthopedic surgeries in Gharapal for a week, it was just a great experience. I actually met my future, associates and partners on that trip. I was just happened to be kind of backpacking through the Middle East. I took some time off after my training, and I thought traveling would be fun. And I definitely went to Armenia. And while I was there, the mission trip was there too. And they said, why don't you come down and work with us for a week?
How serendipitous. Well.
Right. And it just worked out great. I clicked with the guys. I loved my entire experience there. I loved working with everybody there. And thank you, Ramela, by the way, for setting all that up and being a huge part of that, of course. So came back to LA from that trip, and we said, let's work together. And now I'm here in LA working with them.
Nice.
So it's great. It's great.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so now let's talk music, because that's what I'm interested in, and that's why you're here, to talk about, your creative outlet. So you're a self-taught pianist, and I want to know what drove you, what passion inside you made you, learn the art form all on your own.
So I think music is one of those things where you have to be inspired.
Yeah.
You cannot be forced to learn music, and everybody who has kids will tell you you can't force your kid to take piano lessons or guitar lessons. It has to be something really cool that they like, that they look up to, and something they're interested in. And for me, it took a while, but I was about 21 years old, and I actually had a roommate that was an accomplished pianist, one of the best pianists I know, and he would play a lot of stuff, and I was never really interested. But there was this one song that he played. I had no idea what it was, but I just knew it was Armenian, and it spoke to my heart.
Right.
And because of that one song, I taught myself that song.
That's amazing.
It took me 6 months, but I learned it.
Wow.
And everything branched. Yeah, everything kind of branched off from there. All these things started kind of opening up. I started getting much better, and it just became so much fun. I mean, it's really just for me. It's not for anybody else. I enjoy doing it. It's a great time for me, and as you get better, you start enjoying it more.
Yeah.
So really, it took inspiration from hearing somebody else play something that just struck a chord with my heart. It was
Struck a chord.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. And so you dabble in the guitar as well. Which one do you prefer?
Strike a chord,
Piano?
right?
Yeah, exactly. It was punny. So which one do you like better? Or which one do you more frequently play? I'm assuming the piano, but you also play the guitar. So is there one you like better?
Right. So I played guitar as a kid. That was one of the things that I was kind of forced to do a little bit. And I thought it was pretty cool at the time, but I got away from music for about 10 years, all in my teenage years. And I thought it was stupid, or I was into other things, and I just kind of put music to the side.
Right.
So it took really my adult years to kind of come back to it. I wish I got back to it earlier, and would have been much more accomplished. It would have been a cool skill to have later on. But guitar, I've gone further away from, even though it's really fun to play with other people, especially a good drummer or bass player, and get a good electric guitar, a solo riff going. Those are always fun. But I just feel like piano is the new thing for me. It's become pretty much my main hobby and one of my favorite things to do. And there's just so many more options on the piano.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, the piano is beautiful. I mean, I love the guitar as well, but piano is just something else. It strikes a chord with everyone. Yeah. So you've agreed to play a couple of pieces for us.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of them is from my favorite shows. We're in the last season right now, so I think a lot of people know about it. But I just picked it up by ear, and it's just so fun to play for me. I love it.
Yeah, and you're going to play an Armenian piece as well?
Yes, I am. This is actually the piece that got me into playing piano, and it took me a while to learn. But again, I'm proud of it, and I'm really happy to play it. Every time I play it, it makes me feel very, very special inside, very emotional.
Beautiful. You know what? I have to tell you that I am very much proud that it takes a lot of perseverance and accepting failure to teach yourself how to play the piano. So, yeah, amazing. So stay tuned for a beautiful musical performance by Dr. Sevag Bastian. 7Q Spa Laser and Aesthetic Center has opened its doors to their new location in Glendale, a luxurious space offering cutting-edge technologies, including laser hair removal for men and women, all injectables and fillers, Botox, Restylane, Kybella, Juvederm Ultra Plus, and all other variations, PDO thread lift, PRP facial with mesotherapy and microneedling. Visit their new location, 7Q Spa Laser and Aesthetic Center. You're back and you are watching the Maria Cozette Show. My guest today is Dr. Sevag Bastian. So I have heard that many surgeons like to play music while performing surgery. Are there any particular pieces you like to play or music you prefer?
Right. So we don't actually play the music in the OR, but we definitely listen to music.
Right.
Keep it going. I mean, some of those surgeries are pretty long, so we try to keep things upbeat, keep it lively. We listen to a lot of new things. I'm more of a house music, hip hop kind of guy. Some people are more particular about their playlists. I let them kind of take over because it really doesn't matter to me. I'm a fan of all types of music.
Right.
Even country music, believe it or not.
Really?
I was never a huge fan, but it grew on me. Last year I listened to it every day in the operating room, and I had a huge country fan for a boss that I worked for, and it actually grew on me. So I will literally listen to anything at this point, as long as it's got a good beat and gets everybody going. If everyone's in a good mood, I'm in a good mood.
Nice. I love country, so I'm happy to hear you say
really?
that.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I've heard that you beatbox. I have tried it many times, and I just can't seem to. Beatbox. It's essentially vocal percussion, if you will. So can you drop a little beat for us?
Yeah, sure. I can try. I knew you'd ask this. I just end up doing it sometimes when I'm doing brainless like computer work or paperwork, and people around me are always like, "Are you? Is that you? Where's that coming from?" So one of the ones that my brain just kind of gets to is just pretty simple, straightforward. I'm not like a pro beatboxer, but
all good.
Okay, well, here's one. It's so that's
I love
that's
it.
one that everyone knows.
That's awesome. Very awesome.
Thank you.
That was very cool. So I ask this question of all my guests, and I would like to know, why do you think it's important for a professional to exercise both sides of the brain and have a creative outlet?
I think creativity is key. I think it keeps things interesting. It keeps you trying to push for more, trying to learn more, trying to stay motivated to come up with new things, new ideas. Music especially is something that requires a lot of creativity. It's not about memorizing a piece and playing it to perfection. It's about letting your hands or whatever instrument you play, just kind of letting your mind just kind of take over, and it's played almost differently every time because it's depending on your mood at the time.
Yeah, it's all about feeling it.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it just gives a totally different perspective on life, on your work, on everything, on interactions with people, everything. So I think music is key for that, or at least having some sort of creative outlet where you can express yourself in a certain way, and it could be anything. If you got something like that, then you can always kind of come back to it and kind of reset. It's just a cool way to kind of think about something in a different way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, especially about music. You know, it's my life. So yeah, it was really, really great having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I wish you all the very best in your professional endeavors now that you're practicing here in LA. And of course, keep making music, shine on, all of that. Thank you so much for coming on, and stay tuned for more of the Maria Cozette Show. It is by the strength and unwavering commitment of healers that we continue to thrive. Physicians dedicate their lives to medicine with a solemn oath. However, there are those who go beyond their immediate call of duty. Those physicians are a part of Doctors Without Borders. venturing out far and wide to help heal the world in times of dire need and scarcity of resources. In 1968, a group of physicians came together to help victims of wars and major disasters. This new brand of humanitarianism would reinvent the concept of emergency aid. The founding principles of Doctors Without Borders are that they provide medical aid where it's needed most, independent, neutral, and impartial. They work in conflict zones, after natural disasters, during epidemics, in long-term care settings, often putting their lives at risk. Their teams see millions of patients every year in many different types of projects. A quote by Dr. James Orbinski, then president of the organization, collecting the Nobel Peace Prize in 1999. Humanitarian action is more than simple generosity, simple charity. It aims to build spaces of normalcy in the midst of what is abnormal. Know the Greats, where we spotlight legends. The Beatles were a legendary rock group from England and transformed popular music as a creative, high-commercial art form. Group members were Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and George Harrison. They took the world by storm with relentless imagination and experimentation. The Beatles grabbed hold of the international mass consciousness in 1964 and never let go for the next 6 years, always staying ahead of the pack in terms of creativity, but never losing their ability to communicate their increasingly sophisticated ideas to a mass audience. Their supremacy as rock icons remains unchallenged to this day, decades after their breakup in 1970. The uniqueness of their music was in how they integrated different genres and created their own sound, rooted in skiffle, beat, and 1950s rock and roll. The Beatles were integral to the evolution of pop music and the development of counterculture in the 1960s. Led by primary songwriters John Lennon and Paul McCartney, the initial trio played in clubs in Liverpool and had been together since 1958 before finding drummer Ringo Starr. As their popularity grew immensely, the fan frenzy was dubbed Beatlemania. From their hairstyles to their music, everyone in the world was in love. The Beatles are the best-selling band in history, with an estimation of more than 800 million records sold worldwide. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988, and as of 2017, the Beatles still held the record for most #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. That's a wrap. Thank you so much to my guest today, Dr. Sevag Bastian. You're absolutely awesome, one of the coolest physicians I have ever met. And of course, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram for exclusive footage and stories. And of course, to find out more about the Maria Cozette Show, visit mariacozette.com/television. Well, that's about it, guys. Everyone remember to stay creative.